Welcome everybody, this is Michael Biviano speaking. Welcome to Life, Love and the Pursuit of Real Estate. I'm here with my very good friend Adrian Sarko, who owns the One Agency Real Estate Office in Sunbury. So to tell a very quick story, I met Adrian in Bali and I walked into the restaurant and this loudmouth, same height guy as me, was on a work call on FaceTime in a cafe. Oh, it's not a cafe, it's like a restaurant, isn't it? It's like a restaurant, yeah. And the first thing I said to my wife is, "Oh, another bloody loudmouth real estate agent." Well, sure enough, what's happened is that him and I have become best mates after that. So obviously likes attract, and people in the same industry seem to attract each other too. So this interview I've been looking forward to for a while. Excuse my croaky throat because I'm losing my voice. So I'll try and do the best I can with that. But Adrian, welcome. Thanks very much for coming.
Pleasure's all mine.
Today what we thought we'd do for you budding real estate principals here in Melbourne and in other states, and also the potential of principals who want to get their own, manifest more than one business in this particular market, which is quite difficult for most of you guys. But I'm going to cover a couple of aspects in relation to my asking of questions, in relation to the COVID-19, what's happening with the real estate market before COVID and after, what we presume that will happen after. And then what we'll also do is I want to talk to Adrian about his structure in his business and how he goes about the day-to-day functioning of the business, the motivation of the staff, the maintaining of the enthusiasm, and basically just keeping the systems in place and processes in place on a day-to-day basis. So again, mate, thanks very much.
Yeah.
Right. So, Adrian, just to start off, now I've known you a bit over 12 months.
No, probably a bit longer than that now.
Is it?
It's probably 15, 16 months.
Okay. Oh, it doesn't seem that painful. So, one of the things I've noticed when I first went to your office was that the office sort of had a nice calmness about it and all that. And even though I always liken you to a duck when I talk about you at home, like you calm up top and then paddle like hell underneath. So, and the more I've got to know you, I understand the duck's ass details of the business. But your office is always a calm place. Like you walk in, it just sort of flows. Aside from the layout being good and the staff being good, there's a bit of a feeling or that has a persona of its own. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It was really important for me that when you spend a lot of hours in one location or working with a group of people, the most important thing always has been for me is that you've got to enjoy going there.
Yeah.
So if it's not calm and it's not relaxed and it's not got the right energy or the right vibe, then it's not going to work for anyone.
Right. So of a day when you get in, and I know Taylor generally gets in early,
yep.
And Taylor's the operations manager for One Agency in Sunbury and does an extremely good job, I might add. But when Taylor gets in, when you get in, do you have a routine that you follow as soon as you walk in the door? Do you do specific things the same every day?
I would say the one thing that we do that's consistent every day is that Taylor and I, as soon as I go in, Taylor and I will have a quick chat and Taylor will update me. She'll tell me or highlight anything that I might have missed in the emails or anything else. Make sure I'm on track for that day.
Does she check all your emails?
Yes, she does.
Okay, yeah, good. Yeah, that's important because I'm hopeless at that. So without Mary, I'd be lost.
Yeah, no, she takes that. She filters them for me. So, and then she'll tell me, right, you've got 4 there that you really need to have a look at and get an answer back, or I'll give her the information and she'll.
So all principals really need a PA or an operations manager, don't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, Taylor and I have been working together for over 5 years.
Yeah.
Fast approaching 6. And
how long did that synergy take?
For me and Taylor, we had a good synergy from very, very early on. Probably from about, we got to understand, Taylor came in, she was green in real estate, green probably to the workforce as well.
Yep.
But her development over that 5-6 year period has been absolutely immense. But probably after about 6 months of working together and getting an understanding of the industry, and that was for both of us, because you got to understand that at that particular time, I was actually relatively new. I mean, I brought Taylor on very early on.
Well, just tell everybody, how long have you been in real estate?
6 years.
Okay, only 6.
Only 6.
Okay. So from you started Barry Plant?
Correct. 2 years at Barry Plant.
Okay, 2 years Barry Plant. So now you're in your 4th year.
It's just been May the 9th was 4 years when I left Barry Plant and opened up one agency.
Okay, right, that's good. So therefore, within that very short period of time, you now have a business that's turning well over $1 million a year.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Now that so basically what happens is, one of the things I think that good real estate people do is they manage people, they don't sell houses. Do you agree with that?
Yep.
Okay. And I'm a real advocate for that. So one of and what happens is Adrian and I have a business consultancy arrangement as well as a friendship, which has worked out as a bonus, to be honest. So on that score, what's happened is that knowing him as I do, he's a very structured individual. So when I wrote the questions out to ask you, one of the things was, like, I kept getting back to structure because you seem fairly structured. Right? And even when you're rattled, you don't seem rattled. The persona of coming across just lukewarm, never hot and never cold. Do you agree with that?
For most of the time, yeah. I mean, we all have moments that we'll see a little bit of a little bit of a spike or anything else like that. I'd like to think for most times I'm really, really calm, and I feel that the approach has to be calm. Cause
do you work on that though?
Yeah, I do. I work a lot on it.
Yeah. Okay. So therefore, in that, one of the things that I value about you is the prep. So therefore, when you and I have spoken about certain deals or certain problems or issues, it's always the prep that matters. The actual implementation of the idea, once the prep's right, is easy. So you're very well structured in relation to the prep. You're a thinker. Agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. It would not be uncommon for me to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning because I've been mulling something over, even if it's in my sleep. And I know that sounds a bit crazy or a bit strange, but yeah, it's usually a lot more effort goes into the prep than anything else.
Yeah. Okay. So then, when COVID-19 sort of hit us, what did you do in relation to the staff? Like when it was first announced that the shit's going to hit the fan, so to speak, what did you do with the guys in the office? How did you in that structured persona that you have and that calm persona that you have? How did you go about instructing people and telling them what the eventuality of that was going to be?
For the staff, I actually laid out a plan to say, right, this is how many homes we actually need to sell for the business to stay afloat and for the business to operate.
Yeah, okay.
Now, if we do X, this is what the situation's going to be, and if we do Y, this was what the situation was going to be. To date, we have not lost any staff through the whole process of the COVID thing, but communicating that the business was going to be okay and that we had the reserves and that we had the structure and we had the resources behind us to ride it was probably the most important thing for me.
Yeah, because what I find with people, especially in these circumstances, people sort of rise to another level, and it's no different to in here. Like Raymond and Mary they've just exceeded all my expectations in relation to making an effort in every part of our business. So, and it's not just because they value their job, they value our environment, like your stuff obviously do yours. So in that, as far as that goes, how often through this period of time have you communicated in that run? Like, are you
every week?
Okay. All right. So how many sales meetings do you have a week?
We meet twice a week.
Okay. And so the structure for the sales meetings, what's that?
We will review any of the activity that's going on in the market. That's sales activity, buyers, properties coming on, rentals at the same thing, where we're at, where we're sitting in the market. A really good example, how many vacancies do we have in rental properties compared to what else is going on in the market? You know, average days on market. We review average days on market for our property. We review price and we'll do price comparison. So we'll make sure that we're being relevant the whole time.
Okay. So how many valuations or market appraisals do you do in a week? On average?
On average prior COVID, probably at least 10.
Okay. And after, now during COVID?
It's probably dropped back to about the 4 mark at the moment.
Okay. So are people receptive to you when you walk into the house? Are they, or do you find there's a sense of paranoia?
No, I haven't found a sense of paranoia. I've had one client who was an elderly client who just before it hit, I was in Thailand on a charity bike ride, and she spoke to me from over there. She goes, Adrian, I'll wait till you get back. And by the time I got back, everything had been shut down. And she said, you know what, we'll just revisit this when we start to come out of it.
Okay, all right.
So there was only one there. What I have found though, is that the people who want to get on the market, who want to buy and sell, not really so much of an apprehension.
Okay, so but that's dropped about 50% though.
Yeah.
But that's probably, do you know what, I reckon that figure's okay, because I would have thought it might have been worse than that, but most agents I'm speaking to are telling me that it's about 50%, give or take. So the key is now for you to make sure that you have more contact more often with the more people, if you can, to make sure that you get the stock, because just the listing is the key. Yeah, because once this thing, there's an article from the economist from the ANZ the other day in the Financial Review, and he was talking about there's going to be a temporary uplift in the market because the supply's dropping quite considerably. He reckons that once this thing is getting towards its end, he reckons there's 2 or 3 months of glee. So therefore, you need to be ready for that. You agree with that?
Yeah, I'd 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I think we're already starting to see a little bit of it. You know, the activity since they've announced it opens have been, we're able to run opens, and on June the 1st we're able to run and have 20 people through the open. The confidence of people to visit property is slowly starting.
Well, Bunnings proved that.
Yeah.
You know, there was an article on Channel 9 over 2 weekends ago about the amount of people that were at Bunnings, and I was at Bunnings, I couldn't get a bloody car park.
Yep.
And the car park fits about 500 cars. So on that score, everyone was busting to get out. So no doubt the same thing will happen with opens. Have you done? So when did the opens start? June the 1st?
No, we've been running opens. We had our second week of opens, so the number's slowly increasing. You know, weather was a bit cold on the Saturday that just went past, but that was okay. We still had people through. As a result, we've sold a couple of properties. I've put a couple of properties now under contract.
What about sanitizer and all that? Have you got all that at the opens?
Yeah, we had that from day one. Like, the whole COVID implementation for us was easy, even if we late.
Well, run us through that quickly. Tell me what you did.
Well, what I noticed in the industry, because I came from outside the industry, technology is always something that I've always adapted to fairly quickly. And it's always
savvy. I must admit, you're probably one of the most savvy agents with that I know. Yeah.
And it's always been important for me to have that technology available. So about 12 months before COVID hit, all of the technology that we've been using through this restricted period was implemented 12 months ago.
Can we just, sorry, I'm going to butt in.
Yeah.
Tell us, in relation to that, with the amount of your savviness with IT, etc., just tell everybody what you do with videos and how you inform the marketplace. Just run us through that, and then we can get back onto the COVID thing. But just while we're on that subject now, just let everybody know how much effort you go to on a weekly basis with getting out into social media.
One of the most important things for me with all of that is the integrity that sits behind it in real estate. And for a lot of it, I've found that it's probably an industry that's lacked a little bit of integrity in certain pockets over time. So it's one of the things we've really honed in on. And I thought, well, the best way for us to get that message across is to be raw, to be live, to not be rehearsed, because people trust it when it's live, and unedited and unfiltered. And we found that works really well for us. Yeah. So when we're going to market, like we do a weekly market wrap. All our properties that are coming up or going online, we do a live video, like a live film throughout the home, unedited.
Yeah, good.
What you see is what you get.
People do appreciate that, I think.
Yeah, and we do polished video behind that as well. Yeah. I think for me it's about educating the marketplace, putting the knowledge out there so people make the right decision. I think the most frustrating thing for me as an agent is watching people have their home undersold.
Yeah, okay.
I think that
I have to agree with that.
That for me takes some of the sincerity out of the industry, and that's why we've always been pushing to do that. That's why we, as an individual agency, we actually hold the most sales records in the last couple of years in Sunbury.
So therefore, in this COVID market that we're in, how much harder is it to negotiate a better deal now?
Probably twice as hard. I can count 4 homes over the last 3 weeks that was sold twice.
Okay. And that's not common out there, is it?
No.
Okay. So the relation between sale price and finance, is it 80% average, 70% average?
How do you mean?
Oh, well, the borrowings.
How much you're borrowing?
Yeah, they're borrowing 80%, 70%?
I'd say they're borrowing higher than 80% in most cases, which has made a number of transactions with a number of agencies fall over.
Yeah,
the
okay.
finance side.
I must admit, people don't admit that, but I've seen that everywhere, from Brighton, Canterbury, all the way through, where deals are falling over for a relatively small amount of money.
Yeah, well, we had a property that we sold. Great result, but the bank valuation didn't stack up
Okay, how much under was the bank val?
by about 30k
On what value?
on a value in the 600s.
5%. I have to tell you, that's probably not bad.
Yeah.
Can I tell you? Because one of the things, I was talking to a valuer the other day, and I won't mention the company, but a fairly large company here in Melbourne, and they're underwriting between 12 and 18%.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
That's what they're doing. So they're doing that to make sure they cover themselves. So aside from the litigious aspect of their business, the reality of that is that everyone's scared now, and the banks are being extremely cautious in relation to how much they're lending, and they're being extremely cautious when the valuer goes out. They're actually favouring the companies where the bank has more influence over the valuer.
Yep. Yeah,
And you'll see more of that now. So therefore, what's going to happen is that I think your ability to be able to retrieve a deal is not a real estate skill; it's a life skill.
I'd agree with that. 100%. It's not your knowledge as a real estate agent today that's helping you transact and get a great result.
Absolutely.
It's the knowledge and experience that comes from outside that.
Yeah.
The negotiation experience, the other underlying factors that nobody talks about in real estate.
Yeah.
Like you just said, nobody's looking at it from that. It's one of the things
From the human point of view.
Yeah. It's one of the things you told me very, very early on. It was one of the most important factors that you've got to keep under your belt. And that's probably why I think we've been able to transition in the industry in a relatively short period of time. In 2 years in the industry, open up your own real estate agency, 4 years. 4 years in with that agency, and to grab considerable market share and have a strong brand presence, and none of it's been about real estate.
Do you know, in my experience, when I started at Barry Plant, I can remember Barry's attitude always was, when the market is shit, I'm going to grow.
I'd agree.
And
we have the same mantra.
He was really, really good with that. Like his vision as far as my dealings with him in the early days was biblical. Like he saw the goal. Like he had a plan. And I think when I joined the group, they had about 13, 14 offices, and then they started to grow. And he had a plan. Now, it's not necessarily, success is not based on the number of offices, but he did say, he goes, I'd rather have offices that turn over a good amount and service the public properly than actually worrying about having numbers on the board as far as offices go. Yeah, which some franchises do. It's one of the things I've realised now in this COVID market. I've got people that I know that have got offices that aren't turning over 20k a month. And they were doing, maybe prior to COVID, they were probably doing not even 100, which is not great anyway, but they're now doing less than 20. So they're falling in a heap. So the reality of that is they're not using their life skills to sell to the public, because one of the things that impresses me about you is the fact people still call you. And remember when this happened, I kept asking about how many vowels you're getting, how many vowels are coming in, where are they coming from, whether it's market presence or contact, whatever it might be. The fact that people are still calling your business and asking for a market appraisal, aside from the prowess the business and you have, it actually shows that people have confidence to call you in. Because a lot of people are avoiding doing market appraisals or getting valuations on their home now purely because they're scared. Like when you walk through the supermarket, you see the old people split. I understand that.
Yeah, just cough and find out.
Yeah. And it's funny because when Karen and I go to the supermarket, I said, when we're in the queue, I always say, geez, like we got back from Italy on time. Right? And then you can see the people in the front of it all start to move.